How could I have foreseen that the experience awaiting me would alter my life in ways I had never dreamed of? It began as an ordinary day. Nothing seemed unusual until I entered that room. The door was slightly ajar, and the instant I saw it, something within me shifted. In that very moment, I could have turned back, pretended I hadn't noticed, and walked away, but I didn't. Because the moment I comprehended what I was witnessing, I realized nothing would ever remain the same. Yes, the blame rested solely on me. I made the choice to walk in. I failed to look away when I should have. David was out working, the house was silent, and the only sound I heard was a faint noise emanating from upstairs. Initially, I assumed it was Ryan in his room, lost in thought as usual. Perhaps he needed a drink or some conversation, so I decided to check on him. As I ascended the stairs, I tried to pinpoint the source of the noise. When I reached his room, I noticed the door was slightly open. I paused briefly, took a deep breath, and was about to call out when I spotted him. He sat on his bed with his laptop resting on his lap, its glow illuminating his face, while his fingers darted across the keys. For a brief moment, I thought he might be watching a film, something thrilling like an action movie. However, as I moved closer, a sinking feeling settled in my stomach. That's when I fully grasped what Ryan was doing. The reflection on the screen hit me like a chilling wave, draining all color from my face. I hadn't anticipated this. I hadn't wanted to witness it. Ryan quickly attempted to compose himself, lowering the volume on his laptop, but it was already too late. The damage was done. The second our eyes met, his cheeks flushed crimson, revealing his shame. "I'm sorry," he stammered, averting his gaze. I stood rooted to the spot, my mind swirling with confusion. I started, unsure of what I was attempting to articulate. An unfamiliar warmth spread through me despite my embarrassment, hinting at something deeper I couldn't yet define. Without another word, I hurriedly left the room, my heart pounding in my chest. My hands instinctively rose to my face as I struggled to steady my breathing. What was happening to me? What had I just done? Why had I been so reckless? Yet, one question lingered persistently: was I truly the only one at fault? "Stop this, Claire," I chided myself sternly, though the turmoil inside wasn't merely due to what I had witnessed. Ryan was 24, not a child anymore, but I was 48. I was a woman familiar with regret, yet I had never encountered a situation like this before. I knew shame well, but nothing could have prepared me for this. I remained frozen in the hallway, my heart still racing. Running my fingers through my hair, I tried to regain my composure when Ryan appeared in the doorway. Adjusting his collar nervously, he cleared his throat and avoided eye contact. "Claire, I'm truly sorry," he began hesitantly yet earnestly. "I thought the door was closed." Shaking my head swiftly, I glanced away. No. Actually, I should apologize. "I should have knocked first," I replied, my voice trembling. Unsure of what else to say, I fell silent. The silence between us stretched awkwardly, but this was far from ordinary quiet. We had lived under the same roof for years, yet we had never shared such an uncomfortable atmosphere, so thick with tension. Desperate to break it, I declared, "I'll go downstairs and start dinner," turning toward the staircase. Though my voice quivered, I forced myself to maintain my composure. Ryan said nothing, but I could feel his gaze following me as if piecing together fragments of a puzzle in his mind. From that point onward, not a single word passed between us, not during the evening, nor the following days. Our interactions became non-existent, marked only by fleeting glances and uneasy silences. The void between us spoke volumes, whispering that things would never return to normal. At dinner, we sat side by side at the table, avoiding each other's eyes entirely. The clinking of utensils against plates filled the otherwise deafening silence. Both aware of the need to address the tension, neither knew where to begin. This pattern continued for several days, leaving the air between us heavier with each passing hour. One afternoon, however, Ryan approached me, his hesitation evident but determination clear. "Claire, regarding the other day. I'm deeply embarrassed. I never intended for things to unfold this way. Please, let's not let this ruin what we have," he confessed, his voice unsteady but sincere. Taking a steadying breath, I responded gently. "Ryan, believe me, I've experienced my fair share of embarrassing moments," offering him a small, reassuring smile. His expression softened slightly, though I sensed there was more beneath the surface. With a soft chuckle, he lowered his gaze and remarked, "I suppose we're even now." Confusion clouded my thoughts. "What do you mean?" I probed, curiosity piqued. For a moment, his demeanor shifted, realizing he may have revealed too much. Rubbing the back of his neck, he hesitated before murmuring almost inaudibly, "I've seen you in a similar light, you just weren't aware." A chill ran down my spine as the weight of his admission struck me. "What?" I whispered, struggling to process his words. His face reddened further as he continued, "I never mentioned it because I was too ashamed, but it stayed with me. It was my secret, a memory I couldn't erase." An inexplicable warmth enveloped me, stirring emotions I couldn't name. His confession did more than expose a hidden truth, it shattered any remaining barriers between us. As our gazes locked, everything changed irrevocably. From that point forward, the dynamic between us shifted dramatically. No longer separated by invisible walls, we found ourselves drawn closer, sharing moments that seemed trivial yet intensified the underlying tension. Movies became a new ritual, bringing us nearer despite the unresolved feelings lingering between us. There were times when accidental touches, his arm brushing mine or our hands grazing, ignited sensations deep within me, unsettling yet undeniable. Though I pushed these feelings aside, pretending they didn't exist, they persisted, growing stronger with every passing day. One restless night, sleep eluded me. My mind fixated on one person, Ryan. If he harbored feelings for me, I needed to confront them before matters escalated beyond repair. Driven by this resolve, I rose from bed, my heart thundering in my chest, and made my way to his room. Finding his door slightly ajar, I peeked inside. Instead of focusing on him, something unexpected caught my attention. Pausing mid-step, I grappled with conflicting emotions before retreating quietly to my own room. Yet, everything felt altered. Life unfolded unpredictably after that night. Despite my best efforts to suppress the connection forming between Ryan and me, it only grew stronger. Days turned into weeks, blurring the lines separating right from wrong. Then came the fateful evening when Alex arrived home unexpectedly, stumbling through the door in a state of intoxication. Objects crashed to the floor as he navigated clumsily, their sounds loud enough to awaken David, though I knew he slept heavily. Acting swiftly, I exited my room and confronted Alex. Standing before him, I noted his unfocused eyes and the faint grin playing on his lips. "Claire, are you real?" he slurred, his words distorted by alcohol but carrying an unexpected sincerity. Summoning my courage, I grasped his arm firmly. "Alex, come on. You can't climb the stairs in this condition." "We need to stay quiet," I instructed, guiding him toward the kitchen. Hoping to help him sober up, I prepared coffee, yet his unwavering gaze and cryptic remarks unraveled something within me. Sitting at the kitchen table, Alex watched me intently. At one point, the cup slipped from his grasp, spilling its contents onto the counter. "Careful, Alex," I cautioned, rushing to clean up. But his drunken smirk returned. "Have you always been this kind-hearted?" he teased lightly. Realizing time was running short, we couldn't risk waking David. I ushered him upstairs cautiously. Upon entering his room, Alex's movements grew increasingly erratic. Struggling to undress, he required assistance. As my fingers brushed against the buttons of his shirt, the tension between us became palpable. The air grew thick, charged with unspoken desires. Pausing mid-action, Alex met my gaze, his intensity unmistakable. "I won't pretend anymore, Claire," he declared softly yet resolutely. My heart raced as I absorbed his meaning. "Do you remember?" he pressed, his tone deepening. "We crossed boundaries once, and you haven't forgotten." Overcome with emotion, I stepped back instinctively. "This isn't appropriate," I protested weakly, though my voice betrayed uncertainty. Alex's smile faltered slightly, lacking innocence. "We abandoned pretense long ago, Claire. Stop denying the truth." Gradually, he closed the distance between us until his presence loomed over me. Reaching out, his fingers traced my cheek tenderly. Unable to resist, I leaned into his touch. Deep down, I acknowledged the truth in his words. Before either of us could retreat, our lips met in a kiss brimming with pent-up passion. Every ounce of restraint dissolved in that instant, leaving behind pure, raw emotion. Trembling, I allowed myself to surrender fully. Sliding the straps of my dress off my shoulders, I whispered, "You're right, Alex. Let's stop fighting this." Lying back on the bed, I embraced the inevitable, knowing there was no turning back. Alex hovered above me, his voice soothing. "Don't fear this moment. Everything is as it should be." Though initially hesitant, I admitted my apprehension. "I'm scared," I confessed softly. Ignoring my trepidation, Alex reassured me with gentle words, ensuring our actions remained discreet. Together, we navigated the storm of emotions sweeping through us, finding solace in each other's arms. Afterward, I carefully tucked Alex into bed, locking the door behind me. Seeking clarity, I showered, allowing the water to wash away remnants of the night. Emerging refreshed, I dressed silently, climbing into bed while grappling with the implications of our encounter. Though uncertain of the future, one thing was certain: our story was far from concluded. Please remember to like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more captivating content.